Oh my god! What the fuck was that damage? Sup? Well, hello guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Azura, and I'm here to talk about just, I don't know, I'm here to yap, really. I'm here to yap about Overwatch. So, after Season 1 ended, I decided to just write this down and see how I really felt, because I'm gonna be real, I got really addicted to competitive. Bit of a skill issue, bit of a problem, bit of a funny. Just was expecting to get addicted to competitive Overwatch, but hey, here we are. So after roughly 450 hours, and most of it being spent on comp now, I want to go over how I felt about it and just see how I felt about comp in general, because my first experience, my first season of ever actually truly playing comp for more than 600 plus games, yeah, it was a roller coaster. It was an experience. It was one of the most experiences of all time, and I would never, and I mean never, wish any of this on my worst enemies. So let's give you a rundown. I hit diamond in every single role, including 6v6. Granted, elo is incredibly inflated in this game because that is one of the biggest problems that Overwatch has. You can be a entirely fresh account, go completely insane in your quick play games, play your placements, nearly end up a champ. I had to complete my placements, and as we all know, I ended up with gold 2 on DPS support and plat 2 on tank. I decided to just go from there and see where I went. Lo and behold, I hit diamond. It wasn't hard, it wasn't particularly easy. It was more of a process that was time consuming than it was difficult, but I did learn a couple of things. So let's go over from the top. After I hit tank on diamond, I just vowed to never touch the role again. It is a miserable role to play. You're getting counter swapped, you play like 3 or 4 tanks, and if someone picks Malga, well, I hate you. You have no brain. On the bright side, I did discover that I actually thoroughly enjoy Hazard. Hazard getting that mid-season subclass change that gave him the initiator passives was actually an incredibly good change for the character. Hazard plays an incredibly ebb and flow style of game, hybridizing between Brawl and Dive. And lo and behold, most of my playstyle just revolves around either Brawl or Dive. But I never liked learning Reinhardt, so Hazard was a good secondary pick. It was either that, or I ended up playing something like Junker Queen, and JQ's fun. Wouldn't main her, but she's fun. And Malga I despise. I despise Malga as a character. Same with Orisa, same with Zarya. Granted, that's also just a skill issue, because one thing that solo queue comp has a problem with is the lack of team cohesion. You don't know if you're going to communicate, if you're going to break the shield, break the bubble, or not break the bubble, and so it ends up in this weird little half-breed section where Zarya gets full charge and runs down your whole team. It's happened on more than one occasion, and it's such a one-note, terrible fucking design that I'd never want to play against it. Back to what I was saying. Hazard allows me to play the incredibly aggressive playstyle that I like on tanks such as Nemesis form Ramatra.
Agony is grape flavored.
And fucking Doomfist.
Nino tag.
But ultimately, I like playing Hazard for one single reason.
I'm Scottish.
But there's one thing that I have learned from playing tank and just in general, just playing tank in general, and then playing other roles and seeing other tanks do this, is a lot of them don't seem to understand a single concept. Play your fucking cover, please. This isn't Marvel Rivals. Your supports can't and will not bail your ass out for being stupid. Damage is the definition of main character syndrome wrapped up with self-image issues and topped with sad boy Spotify playlists. Bonus points if you're an Ashe that begs the mercy to pocket you only for you to go 3 and 12. No, it's not a support diff. You just fucking suck. It's me. I'm the Ashe that fucking sucks. No, but in all seriousness, DPS was probably the hardest role to learn, again, purely for the reason that I knew nothing about angles and timing. I still struggle with these things heavily, because as I improve and learn, the more I realize just how important playing around certain cooldowns are. I've even started learning about win conditions recently. Identifying them is an entirely different story, and a good example of learning to play around cooldowns is Roadhog. Having an 8-second interval timing, 'cause, you know, they nerfed it down from 6 to 8, makes it so I can understand my window of opportunity, instead of just, you know, swinging a Roadhog, getting hooked and dying. Why am I swinging a Roadhog? I will never understand. Do not ask me why. However, if you want to know what I do play, I mainly play hit scan, you know, Emre, Cass, Ashe. Sojourn, I guess, if you count her as a hit scan. I mean, most people do. And the odd Tracer game here and there if I need to play something more dive heavy or, you know, need to play a flex DPS. Emre as a character for me just immediately clicked. With my previous video talking about how I enjoy playing Emre when I first got back into Overwatch, you know, since they dropped the 2. Now I'm just outright admitting it. I play mostly Emre. I am an Emre main. Doesn't matter if it's hybrid, payload, that clown fiesta mode known as fucking Flashpoint, or anything else along those lines. I'll choose Emre, and if he doesn't work, I'll end up playing Cassidy as a backup. In most cases, it usually works. However, when it comes to the matches where it's not my supports or tanks' fault and I'm the one getting gapped, those are very good learning experiences to have, even when I end up getting hard flamed or really dejected with the role in general. But you take the good with the bad and you try to learn while you can. In general, DPS is a role that feels like you're either a god reincarnated or a coughing baby fighting a hydrogen bomb. There were times where I felt like I was playing the best I could, but I just couldn't win games at all. Kept going negative on some days, dropped all the way from Diamond 5 to Plat 4 purely off of tilt queuing DPS for 8 hours a day. And that was on one day. It wasn't fun at all. In fact, it was one of the most soul-crushing days I had on the DPS role in general. I eventually got back to Diamond 5, but I had to completely relearn what it meant to play a good DPS game in of itself. For an update, I've actually hit Diamond 3 on DPS. So, yeah, maybe that learning experience did do something for me. As I slowly relearned DPS and applied to what I was learning to the game itself, I started to feel myself gradually improve. It was incremental at first, but consistency is the key, and being able to play at a consistent level is what allowed me to stay where I'm sort of at now and even climb beyond that. On the other hand, you have support. Support is where I feel like I'm in a paradoxical state of affairs to my own gameplay, considering I play Mizuki, Juno, and Kiriko, but mostly Mizu. Mizuki is a character that's designed around dealing damage to heal, paired with his kit that makes it so I can take some very aggressive swings and not heal bot as much as I should. The only problem with that notion of thinking is when I swap to other characters that aren't Mizuki, I tend to get stuck in that Mizuki style gameplay loop of going for more DPS instead of healing. It's actually a really bad habit for other healers that have a more passive style of play, only poking with 1 or 2 abilities instead of just outright swinging people. Mizuki taught me something very important about the support role in general, and it's the fact that supports can do more than just heal bot, pocket one person, or just hold right click. A support can help set up and secure kills, fight themselves, and provide core utility that allows a team to set up and thrive. Good example of this would be the king of utility himself, Lucio. Everyone knows that Lucio's speed aura is one of the best ways of playing aggressive, and then there's also sound barrier, boop. That doesn't come with its own set of caveats, however, when it comes to playing support. When it comes to support, it feels like a 9-to-5 babysitting job with no benefits and the pay is shite. You see that Ryan that just charged headfirst into a team just to get slept by an Ana and jumped harder than Hanami by Toto and Yuji? At that point, you might as well just call yourself French and wave the white flag. Or how about the one DPS that decided that you weren't going to have fun today? Bonus points for playing Genji. Or how about the brain dead DPS on your team that swings 3 people by themselves and dies faster than Saikuno's career? Too soon? But most of these are just the odd few games. There are times where you get these games back to back to back and wonder if the game hates you or if you're just having a bad day. It's usually the latter rather than the former, I've realized in this one, because people that say the matchmaker is against them are just coping. You're just bad. Just like me, because I wouldn't call myself a good player. Competent? Yeah, sure. We can go with that. But I wouldn't say I'm a good player in any stretch of the imagination. I mean, come the fuck on, I'm Diamond. Diamond does... Diamond feels like people are starting to figure out how to play the game properly, and they even start to manage cooldowns, track their ultimates, and even coordinate as a team. On the other hand, it's also the same rank where you stare at your team and you think to yourself, and even like your own gameplay, you just think, what the fuck are you doing? Paired with, you know, the ELO's reputation as an ego-ran shithole, it looks less like a game of Overwatch and more like a multiplayer lobby from 2009.
Oh, Riot Shield! I'm a pussy that used Riot Shield!
The never-ending struggle of said ranked grind was to be expected. I mean, come on, it was my first season actually trying the sort of thing. And you end up getting to the point where it's the end of season and drives kick in. And considering it was my first time doing drives, the experience was both eye-opening and kind of sad. Well, I ended up finishing my own drives in 2 days, give or take, with mostly wins. I could certainly understand why people dislike competitive drives with a passion. It completely tanks match quality depending on where you are in the ranking system. The competitive points are nice. The little animated nameplate you get is also nice. But having that trade-off to where a bunch of people that play nothing but quick play want to play ranked for once, you can imagine it turns into a bit of a problem where everyone is either running it down or people getting smurfed on. You see matches that go from a decently hard-fought clash you might go into overtime to pure stomps. Then again, that's also any rank system at this point, so you sort of expect it. And given the horror stories that I've heard about Drives Week, I really shouldn't be surprised. Anything regarding the last week of a season in any given competitive game usually boils down to everyone going for their final ranked pushes and seeing where they end up. Adding an extra incentive for free cosmetics and a few competitive weapon skins, most quick play players will end up playing ranked just for those drives alone. Not only do you see the the match quality tank, you also see like a shift in a player's mentality. Don't hate the player, hate the game at that point. One nice thing I did like about this season was the competitive ban system. Most of it was spent banning Vendetta, Zarya, Jetpack Cat, but then I started realizing as I climbed higher, I was going to end up with the few characters that I really did want to ban because I just find them annoying. Mercy, Roadhog, a little bit of Sombra here and there, Doomfist, and it's just like the ban system was pretty nice, but it does show that when some people really dislike a character, they will do whatever they can to ban it. You either ban a certain character or you end up banning someone's one trick. And the map voting. I actually didn't mind the map voting all that much. Overall, however, ranked isn't too bad. Certainly feels a hell of a lot better and a lot more fun when you get a close game. Hard fought victories, soul-crushing defeats, the odd stomp here and there, and maybe the odd cheater. And speaking of, Apex would never fucking do this. Getting your rank back because it's confirmed that someone is cheating feels so nice. Because unlike Apex, the Overwatch dev team actually give a shit about competitive integrity. Fuck you, Apex. Anyway, ranked is good. Ranked is fun. I like getting the free weapon skins. I like my gun sparkling gold. I like my gun looking nice and shiny and fancy and all that cool shit. Overwatch just feels good to play. If it be quick play or comp, it doesn't really matter. It's just a good game despite its flaws and controversy. And may or may not have nearly finished the Battle Pass already. Oh, we don't talk about that. But that'll be enough rambling from me. Probably get back to doing my usual thing of not posting for a couple of weeks and making shorts, which seems to have worked out better so far for me. And, you know, YouTube's been pushing shorts quite heavily. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, join the Discord server, check out the Twitch, you know, usual fucking shite. I'm getting out of here. See you around, peeps. Bye.